Ladies, let's start with a truth that too many people are afraid to say out loud. A woman living alone is not lonely, broken, or waiting to be saved. She is powerful, whole, and writing a story that is entirely her own. The truth about women who live alone without a man is this: they are not just surviving, they are thriving. They're doing what many are too afraid to do, living life on their own terms. And behind their quiet strength are four powerful truths. Number one, independence is a choice, not a circumstance. Independence is a choice, one of the most powerful choices a woman can make. It's not a consequence of failure, abandonment, or misfortune. It's not what happens when everything else falls apart. It's what happens when a woman rises, when she decides with full clarity that she will no longer wait for someone else to provide her with the life she wants, the validation she craves, or the direction she needs. It is not a backup plan, it is the plan. When a woman chooses independence, she is declaring that she will be the author of her own story. She is saying that her time, her energy, her love, and her life belong to her first. That she will not barter her peace for company, nor trade her dreams for comfort. And that decision, often quiet, often misunderstood, is an act of radical courage in a world that still expects women to define themselves in relation to others. This choice does not mean she is closed off to love or relationships. It means she's not defined by them. She doesn't need a partner to feel complete because she has learned to stand in her own completeness. Her value isn't increased or diminished by who walks beside her. She doesn't chase people to fill a void. She builds a life so full of meaning and passion that only those who truly add to it are allowed in. Independence, for her, is not loneliness. It is a state of wholeness. It takes inner strength to make this choice. It takes knowing your worth on the days when no one is clapping for you, when the world questions your path, and when your own doubts whisper that maybe you should have done it differently. It takes confidence to walk into a room alone and not flinch, to pay your own bills, to make your own decisions, and to sleep peacefully at night knowing that everything you have you built. That's not an accident. That's intention. The truth is, independence requires a deeper level of responsibility. When you choose to be your own foundation, you don't get to blame someone else for the cracks. You don't get to say, if only he had stayed, or if someone helped me, I'd be okay. You look in the mirror and say, it's on me, and I'm capable. That accountability can be heavy, but it's also freeing, because with it comes control. Control over your choices, your environment, your energy, and your peace. Women who choose independence are not hard-hearted or detached. They feel deeply, they love fully, and they care immensely, but they do it without losing themselves in the process. They don't give pieces of their soul away to be accepted. They don't beg for love or settle for half effort. They would rather be alone in truth than entangled in something that requires them to betray their own spirit. That is not weakness, that is strength. Making this choice also means learning to enjoy your own company, to find comfort in silence and beauty in solitude. There's a power in being able to sit with yourself and not feel the urge to escape. You learn to listen to your inner voice without the noise of someone else's opinions drowning it out. You begin to trust yourself, not just in small decisions, but in the big ones, the life-altering, direction-defining decisions that shape your path. This independence doesn't mean everything is always easy. There are lonely days. There are hard nights. There are moments when you wish someone was there to shoulder the burden, to cook dinner with, to talk things through. But even in those moments, there's a quiet pride. A sense of self that whispers, I may be doing this alone, but I'm doing it. That kind of inner dialogue isn't born from pride, it's born from truth, from knowing who you are, what you're capable of, and what you deserve. There will always be people who don't understand. They'll question your choices, label your independence as bitterness, or see your solitude as sadness. But they're looking through their own limited lens. They don't see the strength it takes to build a life without leaning on someone else's approval. They don't know the kind of peace that comes from waking up in a space that reflects only you, your style, your rhythm, your energy. They don't understand the joy of knowing that everything in your life is there because you chose it, not because you settled for it. Ultimately, choosing independence is about honoring yourself. It's about saying, "My life is mine to live, and I will not waste it waiting for someone else to make it meaningful." It's about knowing that you are allowed to choose solitude over chaos, peace over performance, and truth over tradition. You don't need permission to stand on your own 2 feet. You just need to believe that they're strong enough to carry you. And the beautiful thing, once you've made that choice, once you've lived it, you become unstoppable. You realize that no matter who comes or goes, your foundation is unshakable. You are not afraid of being alone, because you are never truly alone when you are rooted in yourself. You are your own home, your own strength, your own source of light. That is what independence looks like. Not just surviving without someone, but thriving because you chose yourself. Number 2, solitude is strength, not sadness. Solitude is often misunderstood. Society paints it as loneliness, as a sign that something is missing, broken, or wrong. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Solitude, when chosen and embraced, is not sadness. It is strength. It is a powerful expression of self-awareness, inner peace, and emotional maturity. It is a quiet revolution that starts from within. There is a unique kind of strength in being able to sit with yourself in silence and feel whole. Not everyone can do that. Many are constantly running from pain, from truth, from discomfort, from the fear of being alone. They fill their calendars, their homes, their lives with noise to avoid the stillness. But the women who choose solitude aren't afraid of the silence. They walk into it. They sit with it. They listen. Because they know that's where clarity lies. Solitude is where a woman meets her true self, not the version others expect her to be, but the one she truly is. It's where she hears her own thoughts without interruption, where she connects to her intuition, and where she reclaims her voice. In that space, she doesn't need to perform, impress, or explain. She can simply be. That kind of freedom is rare and powerful. People often confuse solitude with isolation, but the two are vastly different. Isolation is disconnection from the world. Solitude is deep connection with oneself. It is a space of growth, of grounding, of healing. In solitude, wounds begin to close. In solitude, dreams begin to form. In solitude, creativity wakes up. It's not about avoiding people, it's about rediscovering who you are outside of them. There's an unshakable confidence that grows when you learn to enjoy your own company. It means you're not dependent on anyone else for your happiness. You're not constantly seeking external validation, affection, or attention. You're not living to please or impress. You are living in alignment with your values, your passions, and your truth. And when you show up in the world from that place, you show up with authenticity and integrity. Solitude teaches resilience. When you face hard moments on your own, you become resourceful. You learn to soothe yourself through pain, to navigate confusion without always leaning on someone else to guide you, and to solve problems with clarity and determination. You discover just how capable you truly are. Every challenge you overcome alone becomes a quiet reminder that you are stronger than you think. It also teaches boundaries. When you know the value of your peace, you become very selective about what and who you allow into your space. You stop tolerating relationships that drain you, conversations that dim you, and situations that rob you of joy. Solitude sharpens your standards. It teaches you to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. The world may try to tell you that being alone is a sign of failure or sadness, but the truth is, it often means you've succeeded in ways most never will. You've succeeded in building a life that doesn't rely on constant distractions. You've succeeded in finding happiness in moments others overlook. You've succeeded in discovering that your own presence is enough. In solitude, you start to see the world differently. You slow down. You pay attention. You begin to notice the small details that once passed you by, the way the morning light filters through your window, the way your heart softens when you hear your favorite song, the way peace wraps around you when you sit in stillness. These are not little things. These are the building blocks of a full life. There is also incredible freedom in solitude. You move without having to explain yourself. You make decisions without compromise. You get to create a rhythm to your life that is completely your own. You travel, explore, create, rest, and grow without waiting for someone else's permission. And in doing so, you discover how liberating it is to trust your own instincts, to follow your own curiosity, and to live in alignment with your soul. And let's not forget, solitude doesn't mean you don't love or want connection. It just means you don't fear being without it. You can love others without losing yourself in them. You can give fully and still return to your own space to recharge. You can welcome relationships into your life, not out of desperation, but out of fullness. Because you've built something solid within yourself first. That's the real beauty of solitude. It prepares you for everything else. It gives you the grounding you need to weather storms, the self-respect you need to walk away from what doesn't serve you, and the wisdom to know the difference between being alone and being lonely. It reminds you that you are your own anchor, your own source of light, your own safe place. So no, solitude is not sadness. It is strength in its most graceful form. It is the quiet confidence that grows when you stop running and start listening. It is the power of knowing who you are, what you need, and what you deserve. It is not a gap to be filled. It is a space to be honored, and for the women who embrace it, it becomes the foundation of a truly unshakable life. Number 3, they are whole, not looking for completion. This truth defies centuries of conditioning, myths, and narratives that have tried to convince women that they are only truly valuable, truly fulfilled, or truly seen when they are attached to someone else, especially to a man. But the women who choose to live on their own terms, without clinging to someone else for identity or worth, know a deeper truth. They are not missing pieces. They are not unfinished stories. They are entire universes within themselves. Wholeness is not about perfection. It's not about having everything figured out. It's about self-acceptance, about knowing that you are enough, not because someone else says so, but because you have come to believe it in your bones. These women do not wake up every morning trying to fix something broken in themselves. They wake up and honor the person they've become. They see their own reflection and recognize strength, resilience, softness, and brilliance all at once. They are not searching for someone to give their lives meaning. They are not waiting to be chosen so they can finally begin to live. They are already living, with purpose, with joy, and with independence. They've stopped searching for their other half because they are not halves. They are whole hearts, complete minds, full spirits, and in that wholeness, they create space for others not because they need them, but because they want to share the abundance they already hold. Too often, the world teaches women to equate their worth with a relationship status. Single is seen as temporary, alone is equated with being unloved, but these women break that narrative. They teach us that being single is not a waiting room, it's a sacred space. A season of building, becoming, and blooming. It's not something to escape. It's something to embrace, because wholeness is not found in someone else's arms. It's found when you stop searching for someone to complete you and start becoming who you were always meant to be. There is a deep power in no longer needing a relationship to feel secure. When a woman finds that kind of inner foundation, she becomes unshakable. She no longer tolerates half-hearted love or one-sided efforts. She doesn't settle just to avoid loneliness. She waits for the kind of love that matches her wholeness, that recognizes her completeness, and that complements, not completes, her journey. Women who are whole don't make decisions out of desperation. They don't stay in places that dim their light. They don't sacrifice their dreams for someone who doesn't support them. Instead, they build lives rooted in self-respect. They create their own peace, their own routines, their own joy. They explore passions, chase goals, and nurture themselves. They learn to sit in silence without feeling empty. They learn to be their own best friend, their own biggest advocate, their own strongest support. This wholeness also transforms the way they experience love when it comes. Because when you're not looking for someone to fix or save you, love becomes a choice, not a crutch. It becomes an addition to your life, not the center of it. You're able to give freely without losing yourself. You're able to receive love with open hands, not grasping ones. You know that even if it doesn't last, you will still be whole. That kind of love, born from strength, not lack, is the kind that truly nourishes. Being whole also allows women to set powerful boundaries. When you're not afraid of being alone, you become incredibly discerning about who you let into your space. You don't say yes when you mean no. You don't entertain chaos for the sake of companionship. You protect your energy, your time, and your peace because you've worked hard to build it. And you know that anyone who wants to be in your life must respect that foundation, not disrupt it. This kind of inner fullness is not something that happens overnight. It's built through self-discovery, through healing, through growth. It's built by choosing yourself even when it's hard, by letting go of people and patterns that no longer serve you, by facing the fears that come with solitude and realizing that the only thing you truly needed was your own love and belief. There's a quiet beauty in being a woman who walks through life with her head held high, not because she has it all figured out, but because she has learned to trust herself. She doesn't need to be completed. She doesn't need to be saved. She is already everything she was searching for. And when you realize that, when you stop asking someone else to fill your empty spaces, you begin to live with a freedom and confidence that can't be shaken. They are whole, not looking for completion, not because they don't believe in love, but because they believe in themselves. And that belief, that self-knowing, is what turns ordinary women into forces of nature. They are the proof that fulfillment begins within. And when you are whole, everything you invite into your life is a reflection of that wholeness, not a patch for what you lack, but a celebration of all that you already are. Number 4. They're not waiting, they're living. That single truth shatters the stereotype that a woman without a partner is in some kind of holding pattern, stuck in the in-between, waiting for life to finally begin. But women who live on their own, by choice or by transition, are not on pause. They are not sitting at the edge of their own lives, hoping someone will come along and give them permission to press play. They are already fully immersed in the richness of their days. They're not waiting for someone to walk in and complete their journey. They are already on the road, moving forward, becoming more and making it count. There's a quiet rebellion in living life for yourself in a world that constantly tells you to wait. Wait until you're married. Wait until you have kids. Wait until you have approval. Wait until you're chosen. But these women said no to the waiting game. They realized that life doesn't owe them a perfect partner, and that happiness doesn't wait at the end of someone else's commitment. They stopped waiting to be picked and started choosing themselves. They started showing up for their own dreams, their own passions, and their own peace. These women wake up and own their mornings. They create rituals that center them, activities that excite them, and paths that nourish them. They go to the gym not because someone told them to, but because it makes them feel strong. They cook meals for one and savor every bite, not because it's lonely, but because it's a form of self-respect. They book flights, they explore, they take themselves to dinner, they say yes to adventures. They are not incomplete. They are fully engaged in the art of becoming. When a woman stops waiting, she starts to truly see what's possible. She's no longer looking over her shoulder, wondering when her real life will begin. She's building it brick by brick, day by day. She's not afraid to take up space or walk into a room alone. She walks in with purpose, with confidence, with the knowledge that she belongs wherever she decides to be. She's not seeking permission. She's claiming her seat at every table she chooses. This way of living is not loud or boastful. It's rooted in quiet confidence. It's in the way she carries herself, the decisions she makes, and the priorities she sets. She doesn't apologize for wanting more, for dreaming big, or for choosing solitude over chaos. She doesn't sacrifice herself for temporary affection or pretend to be less than she is to be more palatable. She knows who she is, and she honors that truth in every area of her life. There's power in not waiting. It means she doesn't delay joy. She doesn't put off happiness until someone else arrives to share it with her. She creates moments now. She celebrates the little wins. She fills her space with things that inspire her: books, plants, art, music, because her environment reflects her soul. She doesn't decorate her life with someday thinking. She lives in the present fully, authentically, and when it comes to love, she's not desperate for it. She's not searching to be rescued or completed. If it comes, it must be an addition, not a lifeline. She is already grounded, already fulfilled, already building a life that excites her. She knows love is beautiful, but it's not a prerequisite for living fully. She won't wait around for someone to show up before she starts dancing in the rain, laughing over coffee, or chasing her goals. If love fits into her journey, it must match her pace, not slow her down. They're not waiting. They're healing, evolving, and expanding. They are nurturing friendships that are deep and intentional. They are investing in their mental health, their passions, and their self-discovery. They are becoming women who are free, not because they are alone, but because they've learned to be whole within themselves. They are no longer waiting for life to be perfect. They are embracing it, messy and magical, one chapter at a time. This kind of life doesn't always look like what others expect, and that's the point. It's not about fitting in, it's about being real. These women are not concerned with impressing anyone. They are concerned with becoming the truest version of themselves. That takes courage, that takes self-trust, that takes the kind of inner strength that comes from choosing to live boldly instead of waiting quietly. So the next time someone assumes she's alone and unhappy, they should look again. She's not standing still, she's moving forward. She's not waiting for her life to begin, it already has, and she is fully in it, not half. Present, not holding her breath. She's breathing deeply, laughing fully, loving intentionally, living courageously, not because someone else showed up to lead her there, but because she decided she was worthy of living fully, all on her own. She is proof that you don't have to wait for the perfect moment to live. The moment is now, the life is yours, and when you stop waiting, you start discovering just how incredible, joyful, and expansive your life can truly be. So let's rewrite the narrative. A woman who lives alone without a man is not a puzzle with a missing piece. She is the whole picture, a force, a light, a revolution in progress. She's not looking for permission. She's not seeking validation. She is simply standing tall in the truth of who she is, unapologetically, beautifully, and powerfully herself. God bless you.